Cool, guys. Welcome to Leadership Development Academy Week 3. Jared, I'm going to run you through it. It's on recruiting, which is my fave of all time. Literally, when I started Herbalife, we were doing one thing, and that was recruiting, just recruiting. I had 24 ultimates there, and I figured the only way I was going to get return on investment, sitting in my lounge room, by the way, in a big pyramid, I was eating my way through. The only way I was going to get a return on investment was to recruit some people and make some wholesale and some royalties. And I sold a few of them, but not that many. But things are different now. Now we're more, retailing focused. But if you're not recruiting guys, have a fun time at World Team, because that is where you will stay. And it's a lonely place if you've been there a long time. So, I spent 12 months at World Team, and it was the longest. You always have a pin in Herbalife. It's like your learning pin when you learn the most, when you're trying to overcome it. A lot of people at Global Expansion, I just logged in. A lot of people, it's Global Expansion team. But for me, it was definitely World Team. I felt like I learned the most. Learned a lot about personal development, learned a lot about helping other people get what they want, and all these other lessons that we have to learn to be able to progress. But if we're not recruiting guys, that's where you'll stay. And you'll notice some people stay World Team for a very, very, very long time. And sometimes I think, geez, if you had just brought one person in a month for the whole time you've been in business, like you would have had to find someone that takes you through, at least a Global Expansion team. So, and a Global Expansion team in Australia, we're looking at 5 to 15K a month. So that's career level income, 60 grand minimum a year, especially if you're doing your 5K, because some of that's retail. So it's actually probably a little bit more than that. So with that being said, we're going to be talking recruiting, and I'm going to be asking a few questions to our top Empire Squad leading recruiters, which we all know that number one is Lisa. What you don't know is she beat Meg by one person, and Meg doesn't even think she can recruit. So let's find out what we're doing with that. I think she's just comparing herself to me, because I know I can. I'm just get lazy occasionally. And but let's rip into it. So recruiting starts. It's nearly like its own separate business flow, in an essence. If you don't understand the steps and people's next steps, that's when people can get caught up. And a real key, if you're writing notes, which hopefully you are, is when we're prospecting, and especially when we've got someone who we've spoken to about the business and they're kind of that little bit more in, is always leave that person booked in with their next exposure. Never leave it open-ended, because it's really nearly awkward to go back. So what I mean by that is, if you have someone at Fit Club, this works for clients as well, by the way. If you have someone at Fit Club and they've come there to do a workout and they like the opportunity because they hear the stories at the end, make sure that we're booking them in for their next Fit Club. Okay, which one can you come to next? Oh, Thursday, 10 o'clock? No worries. I'll book you in, put it in your calendar, send them a follow-up text. Hey, you still coming tomorrow? Can't wait to see you, blah, 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 blah. And if not, reschedule it again. So make sure their next exposure, especially, in your mind, is always booked in. And then eventually, people will end up getting it. But it all starts with prospecting, doesn't it? Recruiting. And by that, I mean lead generation, or whatever you do to make the phone ring or to talk to people. As we know, we need to find our comfortable set of words, and we're going to get a few sets of comfortable words from Lisa. I'm just going to give you a heads up, and Meg, so we can get a good mix. But I'll give you a couple of examples from mine today, because I'm doing 10 a day at the moment, 10 people, either product or business. And I'm just going to use my notes, because that's where I get my leads, to jog my memory. Okay, so number one. So we had a guy called Jeremy at Maya. He was working there. There's a really big line, and he was doing it easy, and had a big smile on his face, and was full of enthusiasm and stuff like that. So what I like to do is, I asked for their name, and he said it was Jeremy. I said, Jeremy, how's your day been? You guys busy? Blah, 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 blah. Just chewed the, bit of small chat. And then I said, you know what? You've got amazing customer service. Has anyone ever told you that? And he said, no. And you could tell he was flattered. And then I said, are you full-time here or what's the situation? He said, I'm a Christmas casual. I said, no worries. We're actually expanding up at Albury Lifestyle Centre and we're looking for some key people, some good people. I'd love to grab your details. I know you're at work right now and you're busy. So, are you on Facebook? And he said, yeah. And I said, okay, handed him my phone. I said, can you search for your name and add yourself and we'll have a chat when you finish work. And that was it. Done. Lead number 1 for the day that was. And I'm pretty sure James was just about to pull Santa's beard off when I ran over there and got him. That happens. When you're getting leads, that's the most important thing, right? Don't worry about Santa's beard. So, next girl was at a restaurant called Skinny's, which is across the road from the cinema if you're in Albury. It's amazing. It's really low carby stuff. And me and Belinda and Bobby went there the other day. But there's a lady there called Anna. And I was just talking to her. She was kind of talking to me actually. And I was saying, oh, we run, the club up there. She goes, oh, I'm really into sports and nutrition, blah, blah, blah. And I said, have you ever thought about, doing anything with it in regards to a career? And she said, oh, yeah, I have. I just don't know where to start. And I said, well, basically come up a type of thing. Just add your name into my phone, come up, we'll organise a time they come up and have a chat. So it's kind of really low key, guys. I never really book the appointment on the spot. I always just get their details so I can stay in touch because worst case, I figure if they see my journey in 12 months' time and things have changed and we're connected on social media, Facebook, Insta, something like that, and they're watching, hopefully they get to a point where they reach back out. Yeah, because we're not leaving them with a negative experience. So there's 2 of mine. What we're going to get now is – you want to go first?
Me? Yeah.
Is we're going to get Meg to share a couple of her examples, just so you guys have some real-life examples here, right?
Hi. So I touched on this the other night, but I start out if I'm walking and talking, I'll approach someone on the street. Because I said the other night I want to challenge myself and I'm really scared of talking about the business opportunity. I'm much more comfortable talking about, Fit Club and that kind of thing. So I thought I'd challenge myself. So I literally went up to people and said, this is going to sound really weird, but, we're looking for people who might want to earn a bit of extra money around what they're already doing while getting fit and healthy at the same time. Do you know anyone that, that might be interested in doing that? And everyone says, oh yeah, no, my sister, blah, 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 but they end up giving you their name. And the other thing...
So those people were completely cold market. You're literally walking up to them, they're chilling out on the street.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And they usually say, yeah, that is really weird. I'm like, yeah, haha, that's why I said it was weird before you could say it. And then the other thing, yesterday I was wearing my button and I just had... Yeah, it's another one. A couple of people asked me, it was I've lost over 10 kilos, asked me how, and I had 3 people ask me. So that was really good as well.
Yeah. Cool. And how'd you funnel that into the business?
Well, it was just down here at Aldi, so I just invited them up to the club.
Yeah, cool. Cool. So it all leads to an opportunity, I guess, guys, especially with what we do. If we are using the workouts as our DMO or whatever we choose to do, I've always been big on recruiting, and we just kind of landed on a really easy way to use the fit clubs as open houses. I don't see them as fit clubs anymore. I see them as healthy, active lifestyle open houses, really, with a workout at the front, testimonials at the end, really laid back. This is what we're doing, really high energy. And then kind of had that webinar once a week where they can kind of get in all the details. And for you guys who didn't know, that's why we just recorded the open house with some testimonies, and we'll kind of try to update that every couple of months, because I don't want you guys waiting, if it's Thursday, I don't want you to have to wait a week until Wednesday, so you can send them something. And I'm going to do some stuff about how to actually send it to people, because if you just send it to people, guys, they won't watch it. Hey, look at this. They will say, okay, but they won't, right? So I'm going to teach you how to actually get that out to people so they watch it, right? But what we're going to do now, mute Miss Doherty, and she's going to give us a couple of examples of her comfortable sets of words.
Okay, thank you. So I haven't really done much cold market stuff like you and me. I'm still working on that. But my biggest thing that I find really successful for me is VIP ambassador. It works so well all the time. So, for example, I've got one girl who got amazing results on the Glow Lean, absolutely loves it and wants to keep ordering the products. So I just, I say to her, everyone knows how VIP ambassador works, to say, if you refer 2 new clients to me who jump on the program with you, I can show you how to get 25% off. And so I've had 3 girls in the last week actively working towards doing that. And so, once they get the 2 referrals, that's when I'll say, oh, look how easy you got me those 2 new clients. If you like, I can show you how to make some extra money just by doing this with more people. And, you get your discount as well. So everybody's happy. That's my biggest thing that works really well. And I kind of have like a set of attributes that I like to look for in people. I've got a pretty big circle of influence. So I'm still kind of working through those. Like a new person will kind of pop up in my head every week. So, I'll go and I'll, start chatting to that person, just having general conversations and, listening for those little clues about, maybe wanting to make some extra money or, not quite happy with their job or something like that. And then I would say, I think you'd be really, really good at this. How about we catch up and talk about the opportunity? I'm looking at, starting a new, what's it called?
Division.
Yeah, looking at starting a new division in your area. And yeah, I've just got those key attributes that I really like to look for. So, people who, they're influential, they're ambitious, they're hardworking, easy to get along with, those sort of things. So I found that has worked really well for me as well. But my biggest thing is definitely VIP ambassador. So getting amazing results for clients and then showing them the business opportunity from there.
Yeah, that's Herbalife 101. I've got a question for you, Lise. And just while you're talking about that, actually, another thing you will hear, especially at this time of year, is I can't afford it. If you can find a way, a comfortable set of words to link people saying that about, because seriously, if you're listening, you'll hear that 5 times a day. You can find a way to link that to what we do in a really smooth, comfortable way for you, or setting up an appointment with someone, or or taking it to the next step, you will recruit like crazy. But the question is, how do you link? So someone sent you 2 referrals. I've got a pretty good idea, but how would you link that to them actually checking out the business? What would be your invitation?
Can you please say that again, because you froze?
Yeah, no, that's okay. How would you link VIP and as someone who sent you 2 referrals? How would you link that back to them checking out the business? What would be your wording?
Well, I think I usually say something along the lines of, say for instance, I get them to get people to do the Glow Lean with them, and I'll say, get 2 people to do the Glow Lean, I'll give you $50 towards your products. And then so they do that, and I'll say, if you do this, you'll be making $50 each time you do it. Like, get someone onto the Glow Lean. Is that kind of what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. And then that,
I kind of like to, flick that switch for them to see like how easy it is to make an extra $50. Like, oh, I love this Glow Lean. Why don't you do it with me? Bang! Like, you've made extra cash to go towards Chrissy presents. Like,
yeah, perfect.
I try and really simplify it for them.
Yeah. Because people's number one
Yeah.
objection will be, guys, just so you know, or in my experience, is how do I get clients? So if they're already starting with 2 and they've found that relatively easy, they're not going to have that objection, right? So you're off to the races, really. And I like it. So I just say something like with VIP Ambassador, I say something really similar, something like Lisa, you've just sent me two people and I've made $100 profit, which is great. Thank you. But there's 2 options from here, really. You can show you how to get a discount, which is fine. But I can actually show you how to actually coach these people and make that money for yourself. Does that sound like something that may interest you, if we can train you? And they say, yes, generally, 80% of the time. And that's VIP Ambassador. And if they say no, that's fine. You just do the same VIP Ambassador on the 2 people that they sent you. And it kind of just keeps flowing on. And eventually, you find someone in there that wants to do the business. So it doesn't matter if they're your first, second, third line. Like that doesn't matter. If we're digging deep enough, the marketing plan sorts itself out eventually anyway, right? So it's good. I'm glad you brought up VIP Ambassador. It's on there. I thought you but most important thing is find your way and get a comfortable set of words and just make sure that we've got enough people in the top of the funnel that we're talking to, because it's always going to be a numbers game, especially with recruiting. Doesn't matter if you get them on products first, get them a crazy result, get people asking, then bring them in, or someone who's looking for flat cash. It's just kind of like the same process in reverse. They get started, obviously, they start using the products, they'll get that result, which will just instill their belief. But in the meantime, you can still show them how to make some money and invite some people into a challenge, right? So that's the prospecting side of it. So that's kind of like number 1. So number 2 would be where I would insert my testimonial somewhere along the line, because they need to know what your testimonial is, and it needs to be based on what you know about that person, especially if they're COI. It needs to be evolved around what you're hearing them say or what their circumstances are, and don't make too many heavy assumptions on that, whether you think people have money or they don't. Generally, what I've found in the world today is that some people can drive a nice car and have a nice house and be broker than your average person. So never prejudge anyone, but things like having kids and things like if they're saying they're busy all the time and things like they're telling you this stuff or they have no money, like these little things, you can really bridge the gap between the opportunity and those things with people if you're listening. And that's where I would evolve my testimonial to that, right? So, for example, if someone was really time poor, I'd allude to the fact that that's why I got started, because I was doing 80 hours a week and I was struggling, felt like I had no time for me, no time for anything apart from my business. So I got started with the idea of making royalty-based kind of income, and thus, what I knew was as well, if I could find a lifestyle type of way to make money and put that into my bank account around what I'm doing, the money will free up more time for myself. So if I go drop a day of work or whatever, I'd have more time on my hands, right? So that's just like an example of how you just adjust your story, just make little tweaks to highlight the bits that you love. Like, we're not lying, we're highlighting the bits that we know we love that we might leave out from our 30-second testimonial, right? Like things like the reason why I love the business is I can work for myself, don't have to put in my sick days. I don't have to apply for leave. I get royalties wherever I go. Like, these are the types of things I'd be talking to someone about if they hated their job. I don't have a roster. My show-up schedule is my show-up schedule. It's not anyone else's. It's me. I'm answering to myself. Like that type of stuff. So just be real clued on to that type of thing, and it will come with practice. You will learn how to think on your feet. Once again, if you don't have the people going in the top of the funnel, the whole thing comes crashing down, right? You're going to know to practice this stuff on. But if you do, it's definitely a good place to start. And in adjusting your testimonial, that could happen over a 45-minute, like a coffee catch-up with a friend or like a play date with a friend. You don't have to whack them between the eyes with a scripted 30-second testimonial. You can just kind of drip it into the conversation. So there's a lot of different ways to do your testimonial. And then, for example, like in the lift today at Maya, like literally that lift, it goes up a level. There's a lady in there with a pram in like workout tights. and this is like a Fit Club one. And I said, hey, did you know? I said, hey, how old's Bubba? I couldn't see because the thing was over the top. She goes, 6 months or something. And I said, oh, that's great. Did you know that we do free workouts that are kid friendly, right? Like up the end of Dean Street. And she's like, what? Really? Tell me everything. I said, well, we've got to go, but add me on Instagram and I'll send you some information. But that's like another example of prospecting. But that's kind of like a quick way you can kind of insert something in the testimonial quickly that you have a rough idea that's going to pique their interest, right? So you're really tailoring it to them, which I think is important. That's probably a hard question for you guys to answer, huh? I'm not going to ask that because that's really putting you guys on the spot. Cool. What I am going to ask, though, is so the next step, so that would be number 2. So getting a testimonial in there. And if it's not yours that you think is going to be relevant, use a friend's or use one of the guys in the squad or use, if it's a 45-year-old male, you might use Rowan's story because we all know it, right? And we've heard it a few times. Or if it's a amazing 32-year-old man, it's ripped as and a genius, you'd use mine, right? No, I'm joking. But or if it's like an XPT, you might use Meg's or Lisa's, or you know what I mean. So just kind of tailor it to them in regards to the testimonial. So that's number 2. And number 3 would be getting a situation where an open house is happening. Keep in mind the definition of an open house. It's 2 or more people sharing a story. You're not doing the talking, and there's testimonials. So, Lise, I'm going to unmute you again. What's your most comfortable, type of open house? Because obviously we've got the Wednesday night webinar. We've got the recording, and some of you guys were flicking around their recording anyway, but it was kind of a bit messy. Then we've got kind of like a 3-way call type of thing. What do you reckon your most comfortable open house scenario would be? Like, what would you choose first of all?
I think I always try and get them on the webinar first, just because it gives them the full menu. And then I always like to either try and get them in a meeting with you or a 3-way call. So I think it's, like you said, really important to get them to talk to somebody else, because most of the time it's somebody that I know personally, and I know that they're going to listen to you more than they listen to me.
Yeah.
So it's always really good to have your mentor doing the talking. So, if you can get together with somebody who can do the talking for you, definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah. And I know Meg's been using a recording, like an older one.
Yeah.
You were saying the other day. So tell me, Megan, tell me how you get people to watch it, because you can send these things out and they don't, people don't jump on. So what's your? So
first of all, I'll try and get them on the webinar, but just say it's a Thursday. It's like way too long to wait for the next Wednesday. So I'll say if I can. So I always say if I can get you a recording, do you think you'd be interested in watching it? So it's like not just saying I'll give you something and letting them decide if they're going to watch it or not. So if they say, yeah, they're pretty keen, I'll send it to them. And then I'll say something like, okay, so this is a link to the webinar, and it'll expire in like 24 hours. So make sure you watch it and get back to me once you've done that, and we can chat. So it's sort of like giving them a time limit and checking in with them, 24 hours too. Yeah.
So the 2 key takeaways there, like Meg was saying, the old saying, and this is Eric Worre 101, by the way, this whole process. But if I could get you in front of Jared, if I could get you on a 3-way call with Jared, if I could get you a webinar link, if I could get you a recording to watch, would you watch it, prior to 10 o'clock tomorrow? So just having that deadline on it, because if you guys leave it open-ended, they will not watch it. 1 out of 10 will watch it. If you put a timeline on it, they're like, shit, I have to do that. It's a priority. I'm going to watch it. And in your mind, it's like they're going to watch it while they're hot because they're hot now because we've just spoken and they're asking for it. Yeah, let's watch it. And sometimes I even follow that up with, can you watch that by 10 o'clock tomorrow? I'm free at 10. I can give you a call tomorrow just to bounce ideas and get feedback and see if you see an opportunity for yourself. But and they'll say, oh yeah, sure. And I'll say, can you watch it now? They might say yes. They might say no. I don't know. But sometimes they say, yeah, I've got to spare half an hour. Actually, I'll just watch it now. You're just kind of just planting that seed. You're not really telling them what to do, right? You're just kind of saying, let's do this now. And then they'll come back to you in half an hour's time. Or they might just say, oh, I'm at work, but I can watch it. You're just kind of trying to shorten the time, like trying to put it up their priority list of what things they have to do. So I really like that way to do it, to lock them in, because once again, if we just do these amazing open houses and we just flick them out to everyone who's half keen, they won't watch it, guys, or they'll watch the first two minutes and something will happen. Like it just won't be a priority for them, so they won't watch it. So you can do it well and people get on there, and we can see it gets on there, by the way. It registers it and I can see the list. And the other guys with the login can see the list as well. So we know if they have as well. So if you think you need confirmation on that, just yell out and we can have a look for you. So that's the open house, guys, right? So that's number 3. So just to recap, prospecting number 1, testimonial number 2, open house number 3. And this isn't based on anything apart from what I just thought of like 15 minutes before this call. Number 4 is the map list. So they've seen it. You've said, do you see an opportunity for yourself? They go, yes. Let's start. The rest is on your map list. And that's why the list is there, by the way. So not only you can duplicate it and you can do it, but then your team can. Like, it's such an easy flow-on thing to be able to do. And we're trying to do lots of training around this. So we've just done week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, where we broke the map list up into segments and put it through the group. So you can tag your new people in that as well as a resource, like a video. But the map list is really powerful because it'll make sure all these key things are getting done, which I think, especially the first 4. So you have like using the products, getting registered. They're no-brainers. So some will jump on and grab some product, which locks them in a little bit tighter. And then you'll get their goals. Time and money are no issue. From that, we'll make their plan. Get the phone to ring, all that stuff. Find out where they have to be in the marketing plan. Educate them on the steps. It's a really important step. And then we're just going to go through the rest of the map list to educate them, empower them. But importantly as well, when right at the end, we've got the circles plan. So we can get the phone to ring for them and get them reaching out to people, et cetera, et cetera. So they got some leads happening. But another key thing I'm going to be asking from now on, based on my own success with this challenge, because I've never really done anything like this in the last 5 years, guys. Like, I've always spoke to people, but never in a process, systematic, 10 a day or nothing type of way. And the results are crazy. So a question I'm going to be asking them now is, what's your number? How many people do you think you can talk to a day? Keep in mind, these guys have like they haven't spoken to anyone. No, they have 500 people on their Facebook. Like, if they wrote a post and they got 10 likes, there's their first. They might say 4. Fantastic, great. Because if someone's talking to 4 people a day, it's 4 more than what they probably would normally. Especially if they're consistent. If you can show them how to talk to 4, show them how to talk to 5 the next week, and then 6, and then 7, and then 8. Can you imagine the momentum they're going to get over a short period of time? Like, these guys are going to go supervisor in a month. So it's crazy, especially with your help. If you have someone who commits like that, I'd be chucking them under your arm and really riding that thing all the way through with them. Because when you have someone with momentum, it's important to encourage them and to keep them going, because it's easy. Like, it's a really easy thing to lose, really easy thing to keep, but they'll need your help to keep it. And they'll need your help to convert people. So if someone says, yeah, I'm going to talk to 5 people a day, and they're actually doing it, that's someone I want to work with. You say someone who goes, I'm going to talk to 20 and doesn't actually talk to anyone, because they haven't, right? Because there's been someone talks to 20 people, they could be saying all the wrong stuff and they'd still get people come through the door. So it's important, I think, to say, and even if they just say 3 guys, like, how many of you new people would talk to 3 new people a day? None, I would have thought. or unless they're like a real quick mover, right? Like they might have a day where they talk to 7, and then a day where they talk to none, another day where they talk to none, and another day where they talk to like 3 or 4, and they get some results and they get some clients and stuff, but they've never been consistent with it. If you consistently talk to 5, you're better off talking to bursts of people, I think. Because you do 35 in a week versus 15. So of course you're going to get better results because you're doing more people, right? So that's another thing I'm going to be working out with people. And then you'll do your circles plan to cater to that a little bit as well. So talking about people about prospecting, like if they can just find a comfortable set of words to invite people to the workouts or scans or into the challenge, whatever, it doesn't really matter, guys. They're going to have some good success, and then you can tailor your plan around getting their phone to ring a little bit and getting them on the front foot and actually reaching out to people. And that's where your invites lists kind of come into that as well, like the 10 invites. So if someone says, I'm going to talk to 4 people a day, so right, I get that 50, and there's 12 days worth of people that we can talk to, and they'll have really good success with that. And more importantly, I think as well, is if they're doing it consistently, they'll get better and better and better, and they'll learn and learn and learn. Whereas if it's off and on, they might learn something, but because they're not consistent, they'll forget it over the next few days and then do it again and go, oh yeah, okay, and then forget it again. So if you can teach you guys being consistent, they will smash it. And that would be my 5 tips to recruiting. So from prospecting to getting your testimonial into them, to getting them in an open house just to kind of seal the deal, open up on the opportunity, raise their belief, getting the map list so they know what to do, and then making that circles plan again, consistently inviting new people in. That's when people will go through their map. You know, that's going to, as a flow-on effect, qualify them for MAP, get them the supervisor quicker, get them to World Team quicker, get them to Active World Team quicker. Once they're Active World Team, they're pretty good to go, I would have thought. So that's the story. All boils down to, you know what, John Tardle talked to us for about 2 hours at the New President's Team experience. The training was on talking to people. That was it. He just kind of went through how he talked to 10 people a day for an extended period of time, and then he went Chairman's Club. And I think he has the biggest Herbalife business in the world. Susan Peterson's in his business. So she's number 1 in the world. So it tends to work. So that's recruiting, guys. Do we have any questions? Just while I'm going to touch on some promotions, just think of some questions and fire them at me if you have any. But we have an amazing, and I don't think we're cashing in on this enough, Christmas promo from Herbalife, which is the 500 ppv. Where is it? I'm just looking up on my email, so just bear with me. And in this quarter, we get shakers. And the pink and the blue shakers, they're the ones that are actually really good. The Herbalife aren't renowned for making amazing shakers, but the pink one and the blue one are amazing. I've had those ones before. So they sold them at the Honours when I was over there in March. Honours is like the Herbalife 1% award ceremony thing. So that was cool. Here we go. Cool. So, all right. So let's bring this up. How do I do it? Which one is it? This one?
It's your calendar.
That's my calendar. I didn't do this last time either. All right. Can you guys see that?
Check out your calendar.
Check out my calendar. Can you guys see this okay? Hang on, we'll wait for a thumb. Can you guys see it? Like when I bring it up? Someone give me a thumb. No? Yes? Cool. So, week 3, and this is open to all the members. So this isn't just your supervisors. This is for everyone who does this. So in between the 18th and the 24th, 500 personally purchased volume points will get you the 2 shakers. After Christmas, get you the glass bottle. The glass bottles are amazing. We've got heaps of those at home as well. You give them away at the honours as well. And then we've got the picnic backpack. But I think that me, Nicole, and did you do the last one?
Yeah.
Me, Nicole, and Meg are the only ones in the running for that. I'll definitely get it. Look at it. You get like things. It's a backpack. It's got Herbalife on it, and it's got cutlery and stuff in there, I think. But I promise I'll take a few of you on a picnic when you win it, with the shakers and the glass bottle and the rug. So that's going to be that's amazing, guys. It's an amazing thing to promote to your team as well, and it's really important that you guys have a finger on the pulse to where people are at, because if they're close, you don't want to miss that type of thing by like 2 shakes, because that would suck. Like missing just a free thing for having 2 shakes there that you're going to eat anyway kind of makes sense to me to just get it and eat it. But or sell it, whatever you're going to do. We've got some questions here. This one's from me. I'm talking to myself. Yeah, Matt and Bobby missed it by 2 shakes. That's why I said it. I think this is from Whitney, actually. So what about once you've recruited?
Once you've recruited,
What
they've done that.
They've done that 9-day plan and don't want to tap into training or anything. I would suggest to them that based on their goals, they have to, because if they don't, they will not last. I'm going to just chuck it out there to you guys because you're leaders. I've never known someone who's had a sustained period of time away from the system do any good at Herbalife. Their chances, like your retention rate for people who are tapped into the system is 1 billion times higher than the people that aren't. Because it's a really hard thing to do in isolation to start with, because you get a lot of negativity. I'm sure you guys experience a few no's and you get a bit down in the dumps sometimes, and then you go to your Herbalife community and you feel great again. You need that. That's an actual thing. The other thing as well is if you're looking to make a career out of this, you're really taking the piss thinking that you can come into it and just be like, yeah, I've got it, in my opinion. Because we're talking big bucks, like 45 grand a month. Like that's good cash. That's big bucks, 10 grand a week, So you're not going to, this isn't a get rich quick type of deal. Like you have to be educated. Like it's career money. Like it's like a doctor just going into the clinic and saying, yeah, I'm good for this, and having no training. It's like the equivalent, right? So it's exactly the same thing, especially for royalty-driven income, especially in a people-based business. Because people change and they're weird and they do funny things, and people are people, and that's what makes our business unique. So, but for people who aren't in the system, it's so much harder. So you, as a mentor, you have to get them in there. And if you can't, I wouldn't be the problem is, and I've had this discussion with Lise as well, is that if people see you as the resource, they won't tap in to get the information. So if they're not tapping in, say, hey, we have to, I'm happy to answer your questions, but, I don't have time to answer your questions that were getting answered on Saturday or a Sunday at Super Sunday. So you're going to have to start tapping in, or this thing isn't going to work. I want you to be able to make it. I want you to get it. Like you said, you need to make 20 grand a month to be able to achieve your goals. I want to get you there. But you are being unrealistic unless you're going to tap into the system. You've just got to have those chats. Because if you don't, then you're leaving it unsaid. And people they're not even tapped in to be able to figure it out for themselves. So hopefully they get that message in Adelaide and they go there. But for me, you'll be able to know who your serious group is by who's going to Adelaide and who's tapped into the system. The people who are tapped into the system, you want to prioritise over people who aren't. Because they're the ones with a higher chance of making it than the people that aren't. And it's just that simple, in my experience.
His work.
But good question, Wits.
According to their effect.
And you'll find as well, I know you're probably thinking this as well, that you'll find 3 or 4 people and they just won't plug in, and you think it's you and you think it's all the stuff, but like you've told them to tap in and they won't, and as like they've got to be able to follow some type of basic instructions as well. So don't beat yourself up. You just need more people. Because I'm telling you, if you're stressing about people tapping in because they're not, the real answer for that is you find someone who does and they're successful, and they'll all do it. And then they'll do what you're going to do. So if you're not tapped in and you're trying to tap other people in, like you have to use the events as this is no matter what. Like I'm not going to miss one. For me.
Mm-hmm.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree.
Meg agrees. Lisa, do you agree? Actually, let's unmute Lisa because she's had this type of experience. What do you reckon on that, Lisa? Because you were just
I've had this
like 90 days ago, right?
Pardon?
You were just kind of in this same situation 90 days ago.
Yes, I've been in this situation quite a lot. With especially one like members who don't live in this vicinity, but have every opportunity to tap in where they live, but choose not to. And there's only so much I can do to help. Like I can't stress enough. You'd do so much better if you just tapped into the education that's there available for you. This would be so much easier. But yeah, just some people it doesn't get through to them.
And just keep in mind, I guess, as well, when you're meeting people halfway, they have to meet you halfway. And for me, I guess the halfway is you go to a few events. Because once you go to one, you can say, how good was that? You learn a lot. And you'll notice people have their best months in the months that they're tapped into the events, if they're in and out. Like they'll go smash, and then they'll go, oh, I can't do it because they missed the event. So they're missing about 30% of the belief that they had. Like it goes. It doesn't stay with you. Like you have to keep topping that stuff up. It's like a beer. Got to keep topping it up for the goodness, right? It's like a shake, with health coaches. So it runs out, so you got to keep filling it up. It's the same as your belief cup. So, good question though. Liked it. Generate, yes, I don't know what that means. Yes to what?
Oh yeah, if you could see the screen. Maybe.
Oh yes, cool. Thanks, Shan. Any other questions, guys?
I had a question.
Okay, Meg's got a question.
With the promo you said before, you said it's good to know where your people are at. Mm-hmm. How do we know where our people are at if we can't see like when they did theirs?
So if they're a non-supervisor, you can. So if you go onto My Herbalife and you go to orders, then My Orders, and then it'll bring up like a thing. You can click on supervisor. You'll see it. I don't want to really have to try to map this out, especially on a computer. It'll have like your volume and then supervisor. And supervisor is every volume point order that actually hits your personal volume. So if it's a non-member, let's say Lisa's my frontline senior consultant, she places an order. I can actually see the date frame from when it's at. So, and if they're a supervisor, they just jump on there and do that process.
So make sure that they're looking.
Yep. But keep in mind, guys, it's personally purchased volume. So if Lisa done that order, that would go towards her 500, but not mine, because it's got to be that volume has to be done through my ID, not her ID, which gets caught by mine for wholesale, right? That's a good promo, isn't it? Yeah. Another thing, guys, singlets, if you qualified for that, are at the printers. And they said it might be a little bit because they're really busy, but they're in there and the ball's in their corner now, so they'll punch them out. And as soon as they're out, we'll take them straight to the post office and hopefully have all your addresses and send it out to you. Cool. Yeah. They're your Nike singlets that we've done this November. So they're on the way, and they're pretty cool. Gotta say, they're $60 Nike singlets, and I printed Herbalife on the front. I have to express post it to Lisa or something, but that's okay. Oh no, she's here for a while. Okay, guys. So if we've got no questions, you know the drill. You can always send them through. Thanks, Lisa, for sharing your wisdom with us, and Meg. What else? That's about it. Cool. Have a good. If I don't see you guys, have a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Hopefully we catch up before that. I think LDA next week. We'll talk about it's on the 27th. We might give that a breather and revamp it back in Jan. Cool? Yeah. Cool. You guys know what to do, 100%. If you want to get some LDA goodness, go back through the group. All the recordings are on there. They just have a recap. If you're struggling with some retail, go to the retail one. Struggling to recruit, go back and look at the recruiting one. If you think it's your business flow, go back and look at week 1. Especially in the last 90 days, it's always been on business. And get your goodness there. But guys, that's it. Once again, have a good Christmas, and I'll see you all real soon. See ya.